Hello everyone, bringing you another unboxing video today, and what we're having a look at here is yet more US-Vietnam War era kit which has arrived from the US, very kindly sent over by my friend Ian Parker, who received these various items, amalgamated them into one package and sent them all over, which makes for a good unboxing video. There were some other items as well, but I'm not including those here. We're just looking at the US-Vietnam War items. The other items, one of which is a very interesting set of web equipment, will be featured in videos on my main channel, Rifleman More, at some point in the not too distant future, next couple of weeks, all being well, so keep an eye out for that. A big thank you to Ian once again. Without further ado, we'll get into the main part of the video now and have a look at what's arrived. Right, so here we have the box of tricks. Now I've removed a couple of things from this. One is a set of one item is a set of Canadian windproof trousers, which I have removed, and they're now stored with the Canadian kit. I've been moving stuff up into the loft. The other thing is a set of Afghan Mills Equipment Company contract web equipment made in the 1920s. Now Ian picked this up during his service out in Afghanistan and very kindly gifted it to me as a Christmas present, which is extremely kind of you, Ian. Thank you very much indeed. The reason I've excluded that is I'm going to be covering it very soon on the main channel, Rifleman More, looking at it in some detail, so I didn't want to sort of spoil that by having it here. It's not pertinent to the content of this video. It'll be very interesting to have a look at in a separate video over on Rifleman More, so keep an eye out for that over on that channel. What we have in the box, what we have left in the box, is all basically Vietnam War era US kit primarily anyway, so it'll be interesting to have a look at this. We'll push it over to one side and get various items out individually to have a look at. The first thing we have here is a set of the US Tropical Combat boots. These are a nice pair, they're quite good condition. There's a few little issues with them, one of which is the sole has apparently been melted here. Someone stepped on something hot by the look of it. Size 11R, made by Genesco. They're not in such good condition that I wouldn't wear them. I will wear them sparingly, as opposed to wearing repros. I don't do a huge amount of Vietnam reenacting anyway, so I won't be wearing them much. But it's nice to have an original pair of these that I'm happy to wear. They're in good enough condition to wear and they look nice, but they're not mint by any means. Another interesting thing here is you have a marking here in both boots actually. You have PFC Robert E. Braister and then the number underneath there. It would be a small world indeed if someone recognised this. So if you do recognise this on behalf of someone or yourself, then I have your boots, or I have a friend's boots here. As I say, these are the third pattern, so Vibram sole and then the ankle reinforcement there, so typical for the mid-war era, indeed right the way through to the end of Vietnam, of course. The Panama sole didn't take over completely, so it's very nice to have these. They're a useful thing to have, and they will be useful for further Vietnam displays and kit setups going forward. Put those to one side. Next thing to have a look at here is a US Marine Corps item. This is the latter version of the M9041 haversack. Obviously there was also the nylon version of this. This is a bit rough, but can be cleaned up to some degree. It's a two-tone version, I guess you could say. You've got the green of the main body, and then you've got various tan elements as well, khaki elements. It still has the hook at the rear here for attaching onto the belt. That's quite nice to have. I fully intend to do a bit of a restoration job on this for use, and it should have it looking a bit better before it actually comes into use. There's some ways of dealing with the canvas to bring it back, and the same with the straps here, just to make it look a bit nicer, give it a bit of a clean up. So that will be an addition, well, it is an addition to my US Marine Corps Vietnam War era kit. Quite nice to have, also not inappropriate for career as well. The next thing to look at here is a book. This is Ho Chi Minh, a political biography, as you can see. The reason for picking up a copy of this, and this particular version of it, is it turns up in footage in a documentary made by Max Hastings, the very end of the war, which is available on YouTube. I'll put a card to that in the corner of the video now if you want to go and have a look. One of the men on the patrol in that footage is carrying one of these. So one of the US soldiers has one of these with him and is reading it on a rest when they have a break. So quite interesting, and I hope to actually get a chance to read this at some point as well. It'll be quite an interesting read, I think. So inclusion for the collection and small kit, but also should be quite an interesting read as well, hopefully. Next thing to look at here, we have a machete sheath, as you can see, and this is 1966 dated, and this is very typical of the mid-war era. So I plan to get a modern US machete to carry in this. They're not hard to find, and it's fine for my purposes. Obviously an older machete, an original machete would be nice, but more modern ones are easy to pick up over here, and obviously they have the later, that would come with the later version of the sheath as well. So it would be quite a versatile bit of kit to have from that point of view. So we've got the earlier sheath there, which will be good for display. Next thing to look at here is a couple of flare tubes. Now these are still in the bubble wrap, so if you bear with me, I'll remove these and then we can have a look at them. Slight change to the camera angle there because I managed to knock it in the process of doing that, but we have a couple of these aluminium flare tubes for signal flares. As you can see, signal illumination ground, white star. I believe that exactly the same here, another white star. And they open up these aluminium tubes, and you often see them being carried, both with flares in, and then when used, these are quite a handy way of carrying things in a relatively waterproof manner. So, useful things to have, nice things for display. So, two of those there. We also have a plastic bag here, which we'll remove it from. US M1961 belt in very nice condition, very pleased with this. You can see that there, obviously with the snaps for attaching the M1961 ammunition pouches. So a nice tidy example of that there, again to go with the US Marine Corps kit. Don't know why I'm buckling it together, but I am. So we've got that there. Very pleased with that. Another thing to add on to the US Marine Corps web equipment is a set of grenade pouches, which you see very commonly from 65 through 67, even into 68 you see men carrying these. Possibly later than that, I'm not entirely sure, but certainly I've seen plenty of photographs from the mid-war era of these being carried, so I wanted to get a set of these, and these are basically in mint unissued condition, which is lovely, and they weren't expensive. So nice addition to the US Marine Corps web gear there as well. Another thing which Ian put in for me as a gift is this LAW sight card, as you can see here. Quite an interesting thing which I've not yet had the chance to have a proper look at and determine how it works exactly, but it does allow you to, well, it's a tool basically for assisting in aiming with the LAW, which of course is the light anti-tank weapon. So you have this strip with tanks of various different aspects, different ranges and so forth, and then obviously instructions on here how to use the sighting, how to use this as an aid to sighting with the LAW and hopefully hitting a target. So that's quite interesting, and I'll be interested to have a proper look at that at some point. So thank you very much for that, Ian. And then I think the final item is this. Now you'll know I already have a tropical rucksack, or I did already have a tropical rucksack. I ended up selling that one to fund the purchase of this, which is a slightly nicer example in that it still has the plastic snaps for the front three pockets. It's a 69 dated example, or is it? Yes, I think it is, rather than 68. Yeah, you can see there on the DSA number 69. So it's slightly later than the previous one I had, but it has all the original straps in place. The frame is in better condition. It's just overall in better condition. There's less corrosion. You still have the, as I say, the plastic snaps on the pockets here, which had been replaced with metal on the previous example I had. So it's just upgrading basically to a nicer example of this, and it's got different, I really like the look of this in that you've got all the different tones of nylon going on. So you've got the brown for the straps here, and then these are green, and then a lighter green for the Velcro section of the map pocket on the flap here, lighter green for the side attachment points for hanger hooks and so forth on the side here, and then actually a different green even on the pocket flaps. So it's quite nice visually to look at. It's in good condition, and it's just in better condition than the one I had previously. I would like to try and find, or well, I don't think that originals really turn up, but maybe get some reproductions of the small straps which would fit through these attachment points on the side. I'm not sure if anyone reproduces those, but I'll have to look into that. It would be nice to get a set of straps to go with this as well, even if they are reproduction. So that's the final thing to look at there, a tropical rucksack which I purchased on US eBay, and again Ian very kindly packaged together with all the other bits for me and sent across. So thank you very much once again, Ian, for your very generous gifts and also your assistance in sorting all this stuff out and sending it over to me. It's extremely kind of you to do so, and it's really appreciated. And as I say, all of this stuff will feature in videos going forward, A, looking at stuff in more detail, and B, forming parts of sets of equipment which obviously we're going to look at on the mannequin and also with me wearing them. That's the intention. So hopefully over the course of the summer there'll be a bit more of that. I'll have a bit more time at that point, which will be great. So thank you very much once again, Ian, and that's it for the unboxing video. So there we are. I hope you found it interesting looking at these items. These will be featuring in videos going forward, of course. If you've enjoyed watching this video and you'd like to see those future uploads, please do consider subscribing to the channel if you haven't already. And if you're subscribing, make sure you hit the little bell, the notification button down below. That will, of course, alert you when I upload future videos. That's everything for this video. So until next time, bye for now.